All right, like, subscribe, all that stuff. We have kink and kids belong together. LGBT pride is a perv parade. Let's see what this is all about.
As a lesbian, this flag no longer represents me. Pride is no longer something I want to claim to be part of.
I hate that flag, by the way. I like the old flag. The old flag was better. It's the color spectrum. It's meant to be all-inclusive by concept, but instead all the colors have to be like this, that, and the other. So I don't know. It looks ugly to me.
Because I honestly can no longer support a movement that is okay with this. Somebody tweeted, it's no longer a pride parade anymore. From what I observed online in San Francisco and Toronto, it's become...
I don't know if you'll show it. There was like, what was it? At San Francisco, there was like people with their dicks out and like someone was holding someone else's dick that was probably like erect. And it's like in public, there's just kids around and stuff. It's disgusting.
The fetish porn and pedo parade. June is finally over, and what an absolute shit show it was. But keep in mind, it does not have to be this way. Tons of LGBT people like myself are speaking out against this horrible ideology, and we are working, trust me, we are working on redrawing the lines, because the truth is most of the people who are crossing the lines aren't even remotely gay or trans. They are queer, which is basically a colorful straight ally with a boring personality, with no personality actually.
Mateo Ignacio, thank you. Hope you're doing well.
What makes you guys so excited about Pride Month?
Well, queerness, gayness, and being
Oh yeah, this person's like straight or something. I remember this.
fabulous in general.
When did you realize that?
Like, just queerness and gayness. That's why I like it. Is there not more to it than that? I don't know.
You were gay or queer?
I'm straight.
Sex toys laid out in full view while events are calling it family friendly.
Pod.
Riding your bike naked in front of kids.
I just saw it the second time round. I didn't see him near any kids, but the fact that he's like even just there like that, I don't know. They don't do it in my country. I'm worried about how long it'll be, but hey. That's just gross. Like, is there kids there? I don't know, like, when women have like short hair and don't wear makeup, they look like young boys. I can't really tell. Not all of them, but some of them. I don't know, either way, it's in public. Like, I don't know why they don't have rules against that kind of thing. I kind of wonder who organizes this kind of shit, honestly.
Pup play and fetishes on full display. Drag queens dancing provocatively in front of kids while, kids are in the audience just watching, occasionally giving them a dollar bill or two. And there are people that are saying this is okay.
Kink belongs at Pride.
The audience just watching,
Belongs at Pride.
Dancing pup play and fetishes on full display.
Yeah, it's disgusting anyway.
Drag queens dancing provocatively in front of kids while, kids are in the audience just watching, occasionally giving them a dollar bill or two. And there are people that are...
That's a really crap example. I didn't even see it.
While, kids are in the audience just watching, occasionally giving them a dollar bill or two. And there are...
It's fine. I'll take a word for it. It's fine. I couldn't even see the drag queen. I don't know. Like, I don't think drag queens should be doing like sexual shit in front of kids. I think kind of simulating like stripper kind of stuff is a bit weird as well. If they're dressed normally and they're not talking about sex and they're just doing like normal shit, it's fine. It's just clothes at the end of the day, but there should be the same kind of limits. Like, it's not homophobic to expect the same kind of limits from drag queens as you do from anyone else, so.
People that are saying this is okay.
Kink belongs at Pride. Children belong at Pride.
What the fuck is that?
Kink belongs at Pride.
Oh, he's got some like disgusting like rat tail or something.
And there are people that are saying this is okay.
Kink belongs at Pride.
Oh, that's disgusting. Cut your fucking hair, man. That looks disgusting.
Belong at Pride. Kink is not inherently sexual and has a deep-seated
Skullmoth Studios. I will pay you a tenner to cut your fucking rat tail off. That's disgusting.
History in the LGBT community. It's not like a minor seeing someone wearing a collar is gonna traumatize them.
It's been so bad the last few years that people are even going there recently to report on it.
One question for you guys. I'm a news reporter,
Okay.
so obviously there's a lot of nudity around
Oh,
here.
I saw this as well. I think Buck Angel had a video about this specific pride with this particular person.
Men, women, transsexual stuff.
He interviewed like one parent with her kids, and she was talking about how uncomfortable one of her kids were by seeing like some of the nudity and stuff. It's wild.
Going on, and there's kids, wandering around the event. I'm not sure on San Francisco's laws or California's laws. Is it legal for nudity to be presented in front of kids?
Nudity is legal, yeah, within certain boundaries.
But then, what are the boundaries? Do you know?
Coupled with a lewd act. Yeah, anything coupled with a lewd act or anything being done for sexual gratification that involves other people. Basically.
Okay, but this event wouldn't be considered for sex.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the stuff that went down here like qualified as like sexual, whatever. I don't know. Again, I just worry about the people that like run these events. Like, don't they have any standards, or they just just do what you want? And obviously discuss.
How come you don't like Joe Biden? As a lesbian, this flag. Yeah.
Please shut up a sec. Where were we? Police. There we go.
People, right, like trying to get.
Based, I'm glad you get how damaging some of these people are to your movement. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I think all this is terrible. It's such a bad look. Like, I don't know what kind of person would want to get naked in front of kids or, like, simulate sex in front of kids or even, like, stripper shit. Like, I just straight up don't understand it, It's like, we don't like being called pedophiles and stuff, and I don't either. But then why are we okay with so much, like, pedo shit, It seems wrong to me.
They're talking flashing, but no.
But even with kids, it's fine to be nude as long as there's no masturbation or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Hodge twins actually had a really good point here in their video, and they said, how is it legal to walk around naked, but it is illegal to walk around in a trench coat and flash people? Make it make sense.
I guess that's kind of a point. I couldn't square that, to be honest. I think probably both are bad myself. I mean, if you want to flash people and you're just going around naked instead, you're still kind of flashing people, and you still can flash people if you hide behind something or sneak up behind them and tap them on the shoulder or something. You're still kind of flashing them. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
And what does any of this have to do with being LGBT? A nudist or being naked doesn't have anything to do with being gay. Fetishes don't have to do with it. Palestine certainly doesn't have to do with it. And yet there are so many of these types of people in these parades. This is one of the worst takes I'd seen all month. Gay Star News said, this video of a young boy twerking at Pride has homophobes outraged. They have since deleted the post, which is a good thing.
Why would you post like a video of a young boy twerking, let alone like film a young boy twerking? That's weird. I get it if people want to express themselves, but if they're nude, make sure it's 18 plus only. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even against like kink at Pride. I just think it should be kept to like the late kind of things at clubs and stuff like that. There should absolutely not be like under 18s showing up at these kind of events. So like the stuff that's in public, I think that should be kept like family friendly.
And, I clicked on the link and it was broken, thank God. But it did stir up an
Yeah, I'm glad. I don't want to watch a child twerking, you know what I mean? I don't know why anyone would post that on the internet. Like, here's some children twerking. It's like giving pedophiles things to jack off over. Do they need the help with that? I'm not sure about that.
Absolute hot. Let's read some of the comments. Any fellow pedophobes in the chat? The only thing I'm afraid for is this kid's safety. It's child abuse and pedophilia. It's not phobic to find it troubling. Yes. Pride has become a big party full of woke idiots, queer ideology,
I made fun of some guy's hair earlier. What is her hair doing? I really don't understand that.
gender ideology sluts, and straight allies who, funnily enough, are actually transphobic and homophobic and borderline abusive towards children. You can't make this up. Let's see what Jesus has to say. I never thought I would say that in a sentence.
I mean, I have seen things that I would consider inappropriate, but at the same time, if we're shielding our kids from everything, we're teaching them to be afraid and ashamed of these things.
This guy gets nailed.
Oh, hey, Kingbot, how you doing? And then, yeah, it's true. It looks a bit like what you might do to go in the shower if you don't want to wash your hair that day. But it kind of fell off to one side. I don't know. Listen, it's up to her what she looks like, but, you know, couldn't be me.
Nailed by 3 dudes and thinks he has the authority to speak on homosexuality. Terrible joke, I know. But it was like the only time I'm ever gonna be able to make that joke. I don't think that shielding your kids from certain things makes you or them think that those things are something to be ashamed of.
I guess it's like a conversation as to where to draw the line around kids, but I don't know that we need to be normalizing like grown men having their dicks out around young kids, you know? Like, they might see another grown man with his dick out one day and be like, oh, it's just like the friendly people at Pride, but it's not, because he's actually a nonce, you know?
Sometimes it's just negative energy that we want to stray from. I'm on some spiritual shit recently. You guys have been loving it, so expect a little spiritual sense take in each one of these videos upcoming. So here's the first one. Everything in the universe is energy. We choose what type of energy each day we want to interact with. We are constantly making conscious choices, right? Choosing to be or not be around creepy people with negative energy is not hateful or bigoted.
I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. Like, you can define anyone as having negative energy. Plenty of people probably define me as having negative energy. It is what it is, you know? I don't know what the fuck she's on about here.
Give out, you will receive back. So if you are around people that are making your core being feel uneasy, that's going to attract more uneasiness into your life.
Whereas I believe that we should be teaching our children to just live and let live and understand that others will do things that maybe we wouldn't do, and that's totally okay if they're not hurting anyone.
But like, when it's adult shit, why do we need to put it in kids' faces, you know?
Coming from the body that
Our only responsibility is to love them.
And also, part of loving someone doesn't mean that you have to fully accept them and keep them in your life. Quite the opposite. It means you fully accept who they are, but you also can choose to not interact with them or have them be a part of your life for that same reason, because that is also part of loving yourself. I recently asked a ton of college kids what they thought the LGBT community, the community, is doing wrong. They did not hold back. Here's what they had to say. We are all taught to be proud of who we are and who we love. There are also many things that we should not be proud of, in my opinion, that we're doing wrong. They've been doing some bullshit. There's some big issues in the community right now. I want to know what you think those issues are, because we need to be calling out our own people, right?
Dog masks are not the move. They're just not the move. Furry, like, dog masks.
True, that guy looks like he'd bully me off every fucking trans space on the internet, but he's right.
And it's weird, because I'm like, you should have some shame. Like,
Yeah, it's like, what do you do in those outfits? You have sex. If the whole outfit is about having sex, then maybe it's something that doesn't need to be around kids, right?
That out of Pride.
Now there's like furries and stuff too who are like marching.
Furries aren't gay. They're not LGBT. They shouldn't even be in the parade.
I'm sorry, like, he should not be on all fours.
I accept everyone. Everyone is beautiful, but like, why?
I don't know about that.
Most people are beautiful. And, like, the dog mask, come on. Why are you wearing a tail? Why are you going out in public?
Too pushy on the topics.
You know that some of them are in schools now, like they want like litter boxes in schools.
Litter boxes?
Teachers should keep their personal life obviously private, but in a...
Sorry, I meant to click pause. What was she saying? Yeah, there was a kid in like Essex or something that was like actually identifying as a cat. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. Kids have been doing that for forever. Yeah, true. I don't know if it's been considered like a gender forever is the other thing though. Because the way they put it, like, I'm going to play it anyway, but I'm sure it was like this woman was being like, oh, you're not respecting their identity or something. Like, it's fine if you act like a cat sometimes, but should it be encouraged? Like, should you treat it as like the gender? I don't know about that.
How dare you? You just really upset someone. Saying things like should be in an asylum.
Yeah, like the shit they're potentially having said is like quite rude, but it kind of goes a bit further than that, you know? This intro is so stupid. Just play the video, you know?
I just said if they want to identify as a cat or something, then they're like genuinely unwell. Then they've gone. Yeah, they're crazy.
You were questioning their identity.
I wasn't a questioner. I was just saying about the gender. I didn't say anything about them.
But where did you get this idea from? There's only two genders.
I just think it's my opinion.
Yeah, what's acting like a cat got to do with gender, you know?
That is my opinion. If I respect their opinion, can't they respect my opinion?
It is not an opinion.
Yes, yeah, but
it's not an opinion you can have.
Those people think there's only two genders.
There's only a boy and a girl.
Yesterday. There's no other private part. There's only two.
Gender is not linked to the parts that you were born with. Gender is about how you identify. Which is what I said right from the very beginning of the
I just don't agree with that. So why should I have...
I don't believe that it's how you identify at all. I think anyone can just identify as anything, and then what the fuck is gender anyway? Who knows? We're basically at the point where we're doing the attack helicopter meme.
Biological sex, there is actually 3 biological sexes.
This isn't true either. What the fuck? This is a teacher. Jesus, I know more about this than I did at the time. It's crazy. Intersex doesn't, like, nullify the binary. There's, like, intersex conditions that men have and intersex conditions that women have. And it's just to do with, like, you know, issues with your genitalia or chromosomes or something like that. So it's not a third gender. This person is a teacher of, like, a secondary school as well. Like, oh my god.
You can be born intersex. You can be born with male and female body parts or hormones. Yeah. Did you know that?
Because you still go through either pathway or the other. You still develop as a man or a woman, as a boy or a girl, should I say? I keep doing that.
There's 3, there's not 3 embryos.
Doesn't mean... Yeah, there's 3. I'm talking about biological sex. In terms of gender, there are lots of genders. There is transgender.
Transgender isn't even a gender. Transgender is when you go from one to the other.
There is agender, people that don't believe they have a gender at all.
Yeah, but you can't have that.
That's like saying God exists because people believe in it. People believe they have a gender. How do they know that that's what they're even thinking about? Anyone can say anything about themselves. I can believe that I'm exceptionally good looking or exceptionally rich, you know?
You can't have that, it's not a law.
Yeah, but it's not a law, but it's our opinion, we just don't agree with it. We just think it's all just...
If you have a vagina, you're a girl. If you have a penis, you're a boy.
Yeah.
But cisgender is not necessarily the way to be. You were talking about the fact that cisgender is the norm. That you identify with the gender, with the sexual order that you're...
God, this is like Peter Tatchell again. Like, so-called cis people don't identify with the gender they were born in. That's ridiculous. Like, it seems to me they don't think about it, like, at all, you know? And the people that have, like, identities and, like, these elaborate gender identities and shit, like, it seems like they're the ones that have been thinking about it, and that's all it is. Like, if I really thought about my gender, I could probably narrow it down to something super specific, but, like, who cares? I just don't care enough about that shit to really think about it.
born with.
Yeah.
So then what gender am I, you know?
You're weird. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Which is really despicable.
How? When it's
If I called my mum right now, my mum would feel my side.
If I called my mum, she'd say.
Well, that's very sad as well then.
How is it?
Loads of people agree with that. There's only a small majority of people who actually think that.
And why do you think we have so many problems in the world with homophobia?
What? This woman is getting, like, ganked by 2 kids.
Yeah, but
Because
that's
the
not
people
homophobia,
express it.
that's gender.
Yeah.
I'm fine with lesbians and gay people.
Same.
I've got nothing against them.
Yeah, same.
But gender is, there is
Sime. You can tell they're from the South. Jesus.
a link between it, and you're
How?
saying that people
There
can't
isn't
change
one. No, they
who they want to
can't.
be.
They can't. Unless you
You're
get a
so
penis
wrong.
attached. No, I'm not.
You're confusing sex and gender.
No, I'm not though. Because
Yes,
if you have a
you are.
vagina, you're a girl. If you have a penis, you're a boy.
Yeah, you can't have a vagina and be a girl, but then
Gender-
Unless you
identify
get
as cat.
surgery, even then,
Gender
because
is
you've got
about
those genes.
how you identity.
I
How
just
you
don't agree with
identify.
it.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
fine.
not an opinion
Yes,
that we
it is.
express in this
Yes,
school.
it is.
No, it's not. And if you don't like it, you need to go to a different school.
Ooh, Jesus. She's losing her cool now.
So
I did go to a
I'm
different
reporting. You need to have a proper educational conversation about equality, diversity, and
I ain't doing
inclusion.
it. My mum
Because
doesn't
I'm
let
not
me do that.
having that expressed in my lesson. When I'm teaching you about you can be who you want to be,
Everyone else
how
does
you
that.
identify is up to
So many
you.
people think
So I can be an attack helicopter if I want to. I presume that's the logic I should follow here.
they just don't say it because then all
Yeah.
this happens.
Maybe because they're polite and maybe they're sensitive.
I haven't said anything in all of the lessons I've been in. It's just because they turned around and started saying something. So I said, how can you identify as a cat when you're a girl?
Oh,
Yeah.
they're now writing a statement. I would have.
Yeah, like, identify as a girl, as a cat when you're a girl. Like, it's not just someone, like, it's not just a kid playing as a cat. It's like, apparently they identify as it now. Like, this is wild to me. I do agree with the sex and gender nuance, but the whole identify as cat act is too far left for me. LMAO. Yeah, I agree. I think, I don't know, gender is a really confusing concept that everyone seems to define differently. And we kind of need a bit more of a consensus on it, because it doesn't make sense to me that you can just identify as what you want and then you are that thing, because that's just deciding you're a thing. I can decide I'm a car, you know, am I a car? No, I'm a person. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I think if I got some actual decent evidence, oh, thank you. If I got some decent evidence for what gender identity is and where it comes from and why that overrides like sex in any kind of situation, then I'd be more open to it. But like when I talk to people, I just kind of get bullshit. So I don't know. Eventually, maybe I'll talk to someone who actually gives a shit about any of this, you know, because it seems like a lot of people don't, but they're the ones doing it. So I don't know. It seems like a huge joke to me. Maybe it's just you know, gender abolitionist thing, like take it to the point of absurdity so that we abolish it. But that seems ridiculous, and that's what the fucking TERFs want as well. So, you know, you're not kind of helping them out and making their point for them. I don't know.
Imagine that you'll be asked to write a statement as well.
We will. Yeah, we will.
Boxes.
Teachers should keep their personal life obviously private, but in a school environment, no, I don't think you should be talking about that or correlating anything like sexual ed to your personal life either.
Yeah, I remember there was like TikToks by teachers like really excited to teach their like 4-year-olds about, you know, their they them pronouns and their identity and stuff. Like, you kind of hope that it's all fake and it's all just people putting a bit of makeup on and having a laugh, but it seems hard to believe that all of them are doing that. So
That should be sexual ed and your personal life separate. I think people are totally fine with y'all. We don't care, but it's the excess.
I feel that, like, when I used to have like office jobs and shit, people didn't give a fuck that I was trans. Like, no one gave me shit for using a certain bathroom. It was fine. Like, most people don't care, and it gets really overblown on Twitter.
Amount that we don't like.
What do you think about like children transitioning, children going to pride parades with naked people all around? What do you think about that kind of stuff?
I don't know if that's a children's scene.
If it's like New York Pride and LA Pride, no.
So you mean it's not okay for drag queens and gay men to shake their asses in front of young little girls and boys?
It is not right for twinks and fish.
Yeah, like, a lot of the time when I talk to people about stuff like that, they're always like, well, don't take your kids to Pride then. Like, the ones in the UK, it's a bit more chill, I guess. People aren't really at the stage yet of getting their dicks out. I kind of worry how long it's going to be before that does happen. But like, you know, these things happen in public. It seems a bit insane to tell parents that they can't take their kids certain places in public, you know? It seems much better to just have a bit of decency when it's a public place. And it seems better to make it kind of, you know, especially the daytime public stuff, make it family friendly. Because why shouldn't it be? Like, being gay isn't just about sex. It's a frustrating argument to have with people, because they'll just find any excuse. And then eventually just kind of, well, I don't know if I am okay with it anyway, you know?
Net with their booty holes cut out to have their shit jingling on the telephone poles on New York block. No,
I feel like that's not much to ask for.
Give them a little bit of time to just figure out themselves and not push everything onto them.
You think there's a difference between homosexuals and or gay people and queer community, the queer community?
What's the difference?
The difference is exactly what you just said. There's the people like me that just want to live our life as homosexuals and be gay and not push it on anybody. And then there's the queer.
I'm glad queer is like catching on as a name for this shit, because I never liked the word queer. And there seems to be this kind of very decentralized like thing that they're trying to do, where it's like, well, we're not a community, well, we're not any kind of collective. And like, yeah, there's not really, like, there's thought leaders, but there's not much like organization, I guess. Or if there is, then it's buried deep, I guess. But yeah, like, you know, the queer community, You'll get some people that say there's no trans community when people say the trans community to mean trans people. But it's just any way of like obfuscating, it seems, a lot of the time, like trying to make it seem more decentralized than it probably really is, you know?
Queer community, rampant, shove it down your throats. We need to be in schools. We need to tell, we're teachers and we need to tell our kids that we're non-binary and teach kids about pronouns at 4 years old.
You're not gonna go send a little kid to rated R movie, you know what I mean? With all this nudity and cursing and everything, like, they're children. They're children.
People are pissed, and it shows. We are seeing this sort of thing over and over and over in the media. A man cited for vandalizing Huntington Pride crosswalk says he has no regrets. And I cannot blame him, honestly.
Wasn't someone like, I'm sure someone was possibly getting charged for a felony. Or, it wasn't this one, it was a different one. Like one of these crosswalks someone was like fucking with. I mean, I don't know, why do we need the crosswalks to be that color, you know? They do it in my city as well, and they do the horrible fucking progress flag as well.
Like, look at this shit. It's disgusting. And the funniest part of it all is people out there acting like it's me and Gays Against Groomers and Blair White and Buck Angel and Marcus and all these other more conservative, right-leaning gays that are the issue.
Whenever like a left-leaner or like a trans person, like a normal, a usual kind of trans person talks about like bad representation with trans people, they always go straight to like Blair White and like Calvin Garrett and stuff. Like, I don't know about Calvin Garrett, but Blair White is nowhere near bad representation. Who are some good thought leaders, in your opinion, in your community? Geez, there aren't many. I really liked ContraPoints when she was more active. I haven't watched her in a while. I think now there'd be some stuff I disagree with and some that I agree with. I should watch some of her stuff on stream. Fuck, I don't know. I've seen the odd good person that gets into like debates and stuff. There's someone called Zoe Chowney that I watched the other day, and she actually does a really good job. Like, she talks with like generally more right-leaning people on Talk TV and stuff, and does a pretty good job. There was someone called Shivani Dave who was also okay at that kind of thing. I think she's probably a lot more woke than I am, but you know. But yeah, I'm not really sure. I actually quite like Blair White personally. I think Buck Angel's okay. There's not a huge amount, because like, for me, this whole like cult thing and this whole we're all far left and we're all polyamorous and sexually liberated and all this other stuff, like, I'm not really for that, and I don't know why so many trans people seem to be like shoehorned into this very specific thing. It just feels like everyone's just the same person almost, and like you hear one opinion from one of them, you've heard like the same opinion a million times. So I don't know, if they're out of the cult, they're probably okay. If they're in there, then I probably don't like them.
No.
Your own children will. Your children will see us. Your children will love us. And your children
That voice training.
will join us.
This is very reminiscent of that.
Why would you want children to join you as like a trans person? That's a really weird thing to say. It's not like, it's supposed to not be like fucking socially contagious. It's supposed to be something that's like inside of you. Fuck me. Please
That
play.
video that went viral a few years back. We're here. We're queer. We're coming for your children. I'm sure you guys remember that. It wasn't okay then. It's not okay now. Stop it. Just what they need. More ammo to shoot us while we're already down. By the way, actual gays, lesbians, and transsexual people have been speaking out against this for quite some time now, specifically about the difference between being LGBT and queer. Somebody even made a post on X and it said, a lot of y'all just happen to be gay and aren't.
Oh, what was it? I think it's, so I watched RuPaul's Drag Race with my partner. She's really into it, and I quite like it. I like the outfits and stuff. Excuse me. You know, I appreciate drag, like, when it's not gross, but like, they use the word queer, like, they use the queer community as, like, as a catch-all for LGBT, even though Q is one of the letters. It doesn't make any sense. I really wish they wouldn't do that. It means a different thing to me. Like, you're basically saying straight people are also in there, which it's supposed to be like a counterpoint in a way, I guess. I don't know. Careful's is nasty work. I really enjoy Contra's content, to be honest. She's a great representative IMO. Yeah, Careful's is awful. Like, I think Careful's is one of the most flagrant and ridiculous, like, crazy trans people out there. But there's so many more of them. There's so many of them that act in a similar way, just not quite to the same extent, and use the same kind of arguing style, should I say. So yeah, like she's just like the shit floating on top of a whole lot more shit, I guess. But yeah, I like ContraPoints. I didn't watch her most recent video because it was about Twilight, and I didn't give a fuck about Twilight. I miss her older stuff when she talked about like the left a lot more and kind of internal conversations like with characters and stuff. I thought that stuff was really good. I do need to watch a couple of her things, because I think there's some that I probably have criticisms of, and then there's other ones that I think, like The Aesthetic, I think is a really good video.
Remotely queer, and it shows. You can't be queer and insist on upholding traditional gender norms or shit on the working class, or hate butchers, or hate trans people, or be racist, or any of the things that you gays will do. You just happen to be gay, but you aren't even remotely queer in the community. Queerness is so much more than just not being cis-het, and a lot of you don't realize that you don't qualify for the queer label if we are getting technical, because there's nothing radical about your existence. Oh my.
You know what? If someone said that to me, that would make me happy, because I don't want my existence to be fucking radical, and I'm not queer, so...
My God, shut up. And honestly, tons of us have been speaking out against this, like I said. One person said, correct, I want nothing to do with your resentful, dehumanizing, sexist, homophobic cult. I am gay, not queer. I also got in on this on X, and I said, LGBT pride has been taken over by woke, weak queers who are actually homophobic and transphobic.
They actually kind of are. So like with the transphobic thing, I don't really want to speak for the homophobic thing so much, but like with the transphobic thing, you get quite a lot of them who seem to think that trans people have to have a certain kind of opinion. And if they're questioning anything about like the narrative, they're automatically like a bad person, which is incredibly transphobic, because you're saying that trans people can't have their own minds. They have to think a certain way. It reminds me a bit of, I think it was when Bernie Sanders lost a primary somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but it was like there was quite a lot of black people in the area, and all like the white Bernie fans started being like, "Oh, these black people, they don't know what's good for them. You know, they're not voting for Bernie," which was insane. I can't really back that one up. I don't have a source for that, but I do remember it.
Make it make sense. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments if you think pride parades were okay now, if they were okay then, if you prefer the old types of parades to the new. And other than that, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because I have a great video coming out next Sunday. Be prepared. It's a hot mess as per usual, but we are speaking a lot of sense. Other than that, I'll see you guys then. I love you. Love yourselves. Keep calling out the bullshit. Bye.
Okay, Arielle Scarcella. I agree with her on some stuff. There's a couple of moments where it's kind of, I don't quite know what you're saying here, but, you know, I agree with her. I think pride has gone insane. I really hope that what's going on in like San Francisco and shit like that, I hope it doesn't end up coming to this country one day, because it feels like the US influence is getting a lot bigger on the UK as time goes on. And, you know, it's the same with like the internet. Like it's become a bigger and bigger part of our lives, you know, especially since COVID.